Hello everyone, it's Graham Coath with another My Music. Today is a very, very special day. I'll tell you why, but after this video.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
There you go. Do check out the wonderful analog trash. There it is down at the bottom there. Head over to the website, fill your boots, and make everybody smile. Now, I promised you, I'd tell you why it's such a special day today. Number one, it's very, very special because in a minute, I'm going to be speaking to Annie here. Number two, it's because I have discovered just before coming on air that we both have exactly the same mug, and that this mug is her favorite mug. Not
true.
this particular one, but a version of this, which she has where she's coming from. I am in this is amazing because I am in Chard in Somerset in the UK, and you are in, Annie,
Montclair, New Jersey.
and the same mug has managed to make it across the pond.
Well, I did get it in England, so that's.
But it's now in the on the other side of the pond, on the other side of the world. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to get from England? England? How long does it take to get from England to where you are?
About 6 hours by flight.
Oh,
Yeah.
only 6 hours. That's not too bad, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
6 to 7. I think on the way back, it's one way it's shorter. I can't remember which way, but
It depends. It depends if you're helping the plane to fly or not. What the plane's flying on. These days you wonder, don't you? Because we've got a fuel crisis, and the cost of tomatoes is going up in the UK astronomically at the moment because there's a lack of tomatoes. Maybe they're flying planes on tomatoes at the moment. Maybe this is where all of the tomatoes are going for. Is there a bountiful amount of tomatoes where you are at the moment, or not?
I don't know. I've been able to get them, but
You've been able to get them, okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was on our news this morning that apparently we may have a pizza shortage soon in the UK. Can you imagine that?
No, I can't imagine that actually.
I
hope that gets worked out for you.
Well, Friday night, margarita night.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, deep pan or thin crust. Who knows? That might all go. Anyway, we're not here to talk about pizza. We're here to talk about music. When did music first start for you?
Very early. I started singing probably when I was around 2 years old with my dad. He is a guitarist and he plays banjo. And so
Banjo.
I would sing with him. Yeah. Yeah. And I was always very, very interested in it. I picked up the flute when I was in second grade. And also
I just got to stop you a second. I just got to check. Your dad's not Steve Martin, is he?
No. But he loves Steve Martin and his banjo playing, obviously.
Just checking, in case I've missed that somewhere. Yeah. So sorry, I interrupted you. So banjo.
Yes. So I grew up. He played a lot of bluegrass music, folk music, John Denver, that kind of thing. And he was always a fan of the Beatles, of course. So I was listening to that all the time when I was growing up.
So vocally growing up as well, did you develop that kind of bluegrass twang in your voice?
No, I didn't. I actually got very interested in classical music.
Right.
So I was going for a different sound.
Was it an operatic sound, or
Yes,
was it?
yeah, I was
Yes. Okay.
definitely trained. I didn't start opera when I was like 13, but they were, I was trained to start kind of thinking that way. So,
Yeah. What's your favorite piece of opera?
I am not an opera fan, actually.
You're not. You just like the training behind it and the vocal
Yes,
prowess behind it.
Yes, and I loved choral music and sacred, like oratorio type stuff. So I wasn't as much into the opera, and I shifted over to musical theater after college.
Okay.
From kind of a classical background, I went into musical theater.
Yeah, so you did that choral type stuff. Did you do that like with small groups at all, or
the choral stuff? Yes.
Close harmonies,
Yes.
very nice. And then you shifted over to musical theatre. What was your first escapade in musical theatre?
Well, my husband got me into it because he was a musical theater director, and we did summer stock pretty early on. So I think the first summer that we were married, we headed to summer stock in New Jersey, and we did 16 shows in a row. So like every week it was a new show. So I learned a bunch of musicals all at once.
Can you explain for anyone that's not from America what summer stock is?
It's just like very like quick on its feet theater that happens, like there'll be like 2-week or 1-week stock in which you put on an entire show. Like,
wow,
I think this was 2 weeks. So I think like we would rehearse for a week, and then like the second week we would be doing the show and then learning the next show. So learning the next show during the day, performing the show at night, and then every week we would do it again.
Wow.
So
you good at remembering words then?
Then I was.
It's a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I've never been good at remembering words of songs. Terrible. Yeah. I can remember words of other people's songs from like the 80s. You know.
Well, yeah, they say that when that things you learned like when you were in your 20s, that stuff really sticks with you.
It just does. So, yeah. You know, it's dreadful. You know, you're there in the kitchen, you know every single word of the Final Countdown by Europe. But you know, a modern song comes on and you're like, what? But then maybe that's just some modern music. I don't know. Maybe the diction was better back then. That's my excuse anyway. So when did you first start writing for yourself?
Probably 11 or 12 years ago. And I'd experienced kind of a lot of rejection as a musical theater actress. And it's pretty brutal to kind of put yourself, out for audition after audition and just not get the part because a billion people are trying for the same thing. And it kind of occurred to me, well, if I write the music, nobody can tell me I can't do it. And
that's true. Yeah. No.
And so it kind of it empowered me, and I just started kind of fooling around with it. So I actually my first writing experience is writing for musicals. I was and I still do that. I've only started kind of writing my own original music in the last couple of years that I perform as Annie.
That's brilliant. What style of musical theatre do you tend to write, or is it all sorts of styles?
Recently I've really been trying to incorporate some of the electronic music that I've been making into it. So I'm actually kind of playing with the genre a little bit. So
the kind of crossover into
yeah. I think one of the things I would like to see in the musical theater is kind of more of the produced sound that we're hearing in the recording industry, because I think that that's really what speaks to people. It's what's coming through, our earbuds. And I think a musical is all about accessibility and all about getting the story across. And so it's just, I think it's important to always think about, well, how can we do that the best way for now?
Yeah. So more sort of layered sounds, etc. as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I suppose typically musical theatre has always been written with the basis that, you know, there might be a big production of it,
mm-hmm.
but then that big production will filter down to lots of amateur productions of it, and therefore when it gets down to the amateur production, it's not a full pit of musicians doing it. It's Jeff on the drums and Sally on the keyboard, and
yes. I mean,
yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's quite a small group, and therefore it's got to kind of work down to that. But you know, we've all been to see it thousands of times down the local village hall, and it's like, you know, it's like and you know, and then we go, because it's got to be kept really, really simple.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess so. You know, maybe what we'll need to see is we'll need to see a whole load of different types of people getting involved in musical theatre, even at amateur level, who know a little bit more about kit and a little bit more about technology, so that we can have like people with sequencers and, you know, bigger soundscapes and whatever.
Yeah, and I mean that's definitely happening now too. So it's been happening. It's just, you know, it's like anything else. It's an evolving art form, and there's the early stuff that's more, you know, with, you know, doesn't have some of the contemporary rock pop sounds, and then there's definitely that stuff that's going on too. So it's an evolving art form, and the pandemic obviously has affected the way people write musicals and will continue to write musicals. So everybody's just adapting.
Do you write the lyrics to your musical theatre stuff as well as the music, or do you have a Tim Rice?
I do. Yeah, I do the lyrics.
You do the lyrics.
I do the lyrics and the music.
And then, is there ever with that? Is there ever a time when you look at it and just go, "Wow, every word's rhyming here."
I try to rhyme. Definitely try to perfect rhyme.
Yeah, because rhyme, that's part of musical theatre. Is that there's a lot of rhyme in there, you know.
Yeah, and actually, like a soft rhyme is looked down upon a lot of times in musical theater. So you really got to get those perfect rhymes.
Yeah. So, what's the best example of a perfect rhyme that you can think of?
Hat and cat is a perfect rhyme.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And then like a soft rhyme is like chance and what would be? I would say chance and pants would actually be a perfect rhyme. So it's like, it's just if it's like close, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure once more. Something like that.
Sure once more is a perfect rhyme.
Do we get that? Do we get that in?
Do we get what in?
Would that be allowed? Would it? That be allowed still as a perfect rhyme?
Yes.
Okay. So it has to be really quite, doesn't work at all really as a rhyme. So it'd be something like penguins, synonyms.
Yeah, so if a soft rhyme would be if it just kind of resembles it, and a lot of times the good pop singers can make a soft rhyme sound like it rhymes.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, and I mean I've been trying to do soft rhyming a little bit in some of my music, just to kind of like, because it's almost like a obsessive compulsive thing for me. So it's like, okay, just let yourself soft rhyme here. But yeah.
Were you ever obsessed with that growing up when you were listening to pop music, for example, where when you listen to a song?
Oh no, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to hear.
No. What I was going to say was, when you were growing up and you were listening to a pop song where you thought for ages that it was one word, and then when you found out what it was,
Oh yeah, yes, that happens. That happens a lot.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's brilliant when you you've been going along for 30 odd years thinking, oh, they're singing this, and then you suddenly find out no, they're not singing that at all.
Yeah.
There's a great comedy sketch which features most of those, which I'll point you to afterwards, and you'll laugh for minutes on end. So yeah, I mean, in terms of your own music, how far with your own music that you're making, which is electronic based, how far do you try and push away from what you do the rest of the time?
What do you mean? So
yeah, how much of what you're trying to do when you're going out on your own as Annie are you trying to escape from, if you like, what you do on a day-to-day basis, writing musical theatre, so that that's the boundaries of that, but actually, yes, exactly. As Annie, I can do this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just so different because when I'm writing a musical, it's based on a very specific story and script, and so it's like it has to tell that specific story. And then with my Annie songs, it's like I could do whatever I want, and it's amazing. It's because I can start with the music or the lyrics. I can start with an idea. I can take it wherever I want to. So it's very freeing.
Yeah, I bet it is. And what do you then choose to write about with that freedom?
That's a good question. I think a lot of the songs that I write as Annie, I think they have like ideas of longing and romance. Also, the song Danger Electricity that I wrote, that was just kind of all about nostalgia for going out into the city and dancing. It's really, I think it's usually I take a feeling, something that is either like troubling me or exciting me, and I start exploring that feeling through music. And sometimes I just have the music and I kind of play around with, whatever lyrics come to my head first and see if anything sticks.
It's really good. Are you ever tempted to send your new music that you're making, your Annie music, to some of the people that have rejected you in the past?
Oh,
and just say, sod you, look what you've made me do, and isn't it brilliant?
No, I mean, I don't think there's really anybody to send that to. I don't think anyone would remember me that,
oh,
from that life. And there were, I did get to do a few fun things as a musical theater actress, and there were people that were very good to me and gave me opportunities. So, and they've been supportive of this. So
that's good. Look, everybody's got their own tribe. Everybody's got their own people that gravitate towards what they do. What was your favorite ever role that you did do musical theatre wise?
Oh, I played Mabel from The Pirates of Penzance.
Wow.
And that was definitely my favorite. It's a very huge, it's almost operatic, so very fun role.
Not Annie.
Not Annie. No, I have been in a production of Annie. I did not play Annie. I was like in the
sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. I was waiting for you to join in.
No, that's all right.
Love a bit of Annie. What musical theatre do you not like? Do you like all of this modern stuff that's, things like Hamilton and stuff like that, that's incorporating much more urban music?
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
I do. I much prefer.
It's hard to do the rapping though, isn't it? I mean, I'm not being funny, but when you get not for you because you're still a young whippersnapper, but when you get to my age, I just can't get the words out quickly enough. You know, it's all right. The rest of the house, you know, they're all like, oh, it's like, oh my word.
Yeah, no, there's lots of words for sure.
Lots of words.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean the stuff happening is very, very exciting. My husband was a part of the production, Come From Away. And so that moved us from Seattle to the East Coast, so that he could be the music supervisor of that show. And that show went on to come to London and had a great run in London, in Australia, and Toronto. And and I was really, that show really had a big impact on me because it told the story of 9/11, but like something good that happened on 9/11, which was the town of Gander hosted all these people that were stranded on planes. And so that was just what I loved about that show, was just the power of telling a story, and how like a theater experience could actually like be healing to the people that would come to the show. And we saw that happen night after night. And so as a musical theater writer, that's kind of like what I'm interested in, is like, what story can we tell that's actually going to make people's lives better, like after they see it. And, you know, and sometimes musical theater is just about going to the theater and having a great time. And obviously I have nothing against that. And I enjoy it as well. But there's something so powerful about the art form of people singing and dancing or moving. I mean, there's not dancing so much in Come From Away. It's more like movement, but I guess there is. It's like
4D. It's like a 4D movie, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, and it's powerful. And the thing about it is that you can't do it without the audience. Like it's like such an important interaction. Like even some of these live captures that you see on TV, there's still an audience there, and you can experience it from the comfort of your home, but like you're getting that energy that happens between audience and cast, and all the people, lights, the musicians, everything comes together, and it's a beautiful experience.
And what about with Anniee out on the road? Are you going to, you know, are you taking Anniee music out on the road? And then in terms of, if you do that, do you seek out quite a close, you know, small audience so that you get that intimacy?
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. I haven't gotten to perform live. I've only gotten to do it one time so far. And that was over the summer. There was like a Michael Knight, who hosts a Twitch show called Retrofuturism, made a synthwave skate night. So he held it at a roller rink. And I love it. And got a bunch of like synthwave acts together to perform live, and it was so much fun. And it was amazing. It's definitely something I would love to do again. I don't know where to figure out. I haven't been like pounding the pavement, you know, trying to find out where I can sing.
If you've got an ice rink going spare, anybody? That just sounds like a fantastic idea. It really does. Now, listen, if you're making synth music, is there a part of you, I have to ask this, but is there a part of you that's a bit geeky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Cool.
I'm definitely geeky.
Yeah. So what synth is the one that you get most excited about?
Well, I don't have any of the analog hardware synth. So you're
using all virtual tools, are you?
Yes, I use Serum is the synth that I use and compose and synthesize in. So, but I love it. It's super user friendly. It's powerful. Yeah, I love it.
But if we put you in a shop full of analog synths, you'd go a bit mental.
I don't know if I would. I don't even know if I could. I guess I could figure out. I guess they have the same, you know, specifications that I have in my.
Do you know what? You'd be into it within minutes. Trust me.
Probably like with all the knobs.
You'd love it. You'd love it. You'd be pressing the button. You'd be pressing the button, twisting the knob, pulling the wire out, sticking it in there, seeing what it does. Go, wow, that's amazing. You know, and then you'd be addicted. And the trouble is, then you'd spend an absolute fortune. It's because that's what everybody else does.
This hobby is already so expensive. I can't, I can't put any more money into it.
So what's your ambition for the rest of this year? We won't take it beyond that but let's keep sight of, the immediate future. What's the ambition?
Well, I have about 3 songs that are done and they're just waiting to be released. So I need to get those. I need to put those out. And aside from that, I just want to continue making the music and releasing it. I wish I could say, I have a big album coming or a tour planned, but really for me, it's like I get so lost in just making the music that it's the hard part for me is like figuring out how to get it out there. And I'm working on that because that's just as, that's so important. But yeah, I just, whenever I can steal away and make music, I do that.
Well, the thing is, there's people out there that are ready to support these days. There's a really good sort of independent infrastructure out there. I mean, take our friends that we played the video of at the beginning of this, Analog Trash,
Absolutely.
Supporting a whole load of electronic music out there, some of which is, very left field. It's brilliant,
Yes.
and it's great that there are these little record labels, independent record labels now out there supporting artists, getting artists out there, because actually, in a way, the cost of making music, the cost of production, the cost of distribution is cheaper than it's ever been, in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. There's just more noise as well, so you've got to cut across the noise, and it's great when people are coming together to help people cut through the noise and get their stuff out there. So have a word with Analog Trash. You never know. Have a chat with some independent labels. You'll get there. You'll be on something soon. And this time next year we'll see Anniee, the EP, or maybe even LP. Who knows?
Maybe it's possible. I'm having a lot of fun making music, so
that's great. Would you ever do this with your husband as well? Would you let your husband over into the Anniee arena, or has he got to stay safely in musical theatre land?
I think.
All right, he's not watching. You can say.
I think he probably will watch. So, but I think he's happy to let me have my dominion as Anniee. And you know what he does? He listens to all my masters and he gives me feedback. He's always happy to give me plenty of feedback, believe me. And so yeah, but no, this is kind of my thing.
I think that's nice. I think it's important for a couple. I think it's important that you have your own bit of space, which is supported by the other person, but is still separate. I think that's absolutely important. Now, listen, you've been a great guest. Thanks for answering all my weird and wacky questions. If people want to listen to your music, where's the best place for them to go and do that right now?
Spotify. Spotify is great. Yes. Look me up. Just type in Anniee. And
she's got an extra E on the end of Anniee there. You see what she's done? That's so that actually when you type it into Spotify, you don't get millions and millions of Annies.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, Spotify. And also you can always stay up to date with Instagram. Anniee Music is my handle. So
Anniee Music. Anniee, Annie Music.
Yep, _music.
_music. There you go. On the Instagram. Give Anniee a follow. If you like her music, tell her for a start. And then maybe just donate some money at this point in time. Just send her some money. Or if you're in the vicinity, buy her a drink. Or donate groceries, whatever, because musicians can't do it without your support. It's really very important. Annie, it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you so much. I really
thanks so much. Good, thank you, and I've enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for joining me on My Music. everybody. We'll be back very soon with more music on My Music. So don't go away. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to it on Spotify, share it with your friends, and tell them that actually there are some conversations going on there about music where people aren't being asked, what's your favorite biscuit? It's true. You know, and there are sensible questions being asked to musicians as well. Until next time, bye for now.